This is Under Review, the show that talks about Colorado sports with a sprinkling of national sports stories as well. I'm Jordan Long. The Denver Broncos were drawn by the Buffalo Bills 42-15 last Saturday in preseason action. This was the Broncos' second preseason game of three. Now, I know we can look at the score 42-15 and see that Denver didn't play well in the game. But for Bronco fans, it's only preseason, so don't panic yet. These games don't mean a thing. The Buffalo Bills also had their starters in for the first series and their second stringers out there for a while. Basically, not a fair matchup since the Broncos really played backup players. Now, the Bills' offense scored a touchdown on 6 straight offensive drives. I get this was an awful game if you're the Denver Broncos, but at least it was a meaningless football game. Even so, there are a few Broncos who shined in this football game. We talked last week about the quarterback competition for the backup to Russell Wilson. Josh Johnson took a step back. He didn't look so great and had a tough time finding his open receivers or even throwing the football. Johnson's offensive line didn't give him time to throw the football as the Bills blitzed. Johnson played the first half, ending 8 of 16 for 70 yards. That's terrible. You don't want 70 yards if you're a quarterback. He didn't throw a touchdown or an interception. At least he wasn't sacked. That was the only good news. Brett Rippon played the second half and looked so much better. He may have taken the lead as the backup to Russell Wilson with his play. Rippon was 22 of 26 for 191 yards and 1 touchdown. It's really hard to evaluate Johnson's play since he played against the Bills' number 1 and number 2 defense. Brett Rippon played against those backups. I would say right now, though, Rippon played better and he has the lead for now as the backup to Russell Wilson. We know that the NFL is a week-to-week league, even in the preseason. Johnson won preseason game number 1 against the Dallas Cowboys, while Rippon beat him this week in preseason game number 2. In the running game, Mike Boone played better with 11 rushing yards. Again, though, the Broncos didn't have much success on the ground. Give credit to the Bills' defense. They stopped the run, and that was key for them. The offensive line, though, looked like they didn't improve from last week. That is something you don't want to see. They created a few holes, but not many. It was difficult for any running back to gain yardage. The Broncos ended with a total of 32 rushing yards. That is not great. In fact, that will not get it done in the regular season. The Broncos are also trying to figure out who the starting punter is going to be. Corliss Waitman ended up playing the whole game. The reason is, well, Sam Martin, who is a leader in this competition, ended up hurting his ankle in pregame warmups. Now, I don't know how hurt Martin really is. Waitman punted twice with an average yards per punt of 52 yards. The only problem with him is one punt went into the end zone and he didn't flip field position against the Buffalo Bills. I still think this competition could go either way, but that depends on the health and the injury of Sam Martin. If he is not 100%, that is Sam Martin, well then Waitman will be the starting punter. The Broncos are still looking for another wide receiver for this football team. Jalen Virgil kept his play up with 2 catches for 39 yards. The Broncos will finish up the preseason tomorrow as they face the Minnesota Vikings. We will not see the starters yet again for Denver, and honestly, I'm okay with that. Why risk an injury to a starter? Let them get ready for week 1 against the Seattle Seahawks. So what are we looking for in this last preseason game? This is actually more for players to show the coaching staff they deserve a spot on this football team. Basically, make an impact. The backup running back behind Melvin Gordon and Javonte Williams is wide open. Those running backs looking to earn a spot on the roster need to show me something. Wide receiver depth is also something Denver is looking at. Two big competitions are the punter and backup quarterback. We know that punter Corliss Waitman, punted well against the Bills. That still doesn't guarantee his spot on this football team. He has to do it again. The thing I want to see from a Waitman, though, is punting the ball inside the 20. He hasn't done a great job of that in the two preseason games so far. Show you can flip the field position by having the ball down inside the 20 or punting it out of bounds. Sam Martin, depending on his injury, should be back to try to win his job back. He has the better leg. Of course, a big decision is the backup quarterback. I think with Rypien's play against the Bills, that earned him the start this week. He has to be the better quarterback this week. Also last week, he was finding his open receivers and moving the chains. See what he can do in the first half against Minnesota. Rypien needs to show he can play well yet again. Another great performance, and he's most likely the backup quarterback to Russell Wilson on this roster. This is Rypien's time to shine and separate himself from Johnson. A poor performance, and that gives Johnson the opportunity to be the backup quarterback. As for Josh Johnson, that is, he must have a better game when he enters the second half. I get Johnson struggled against the Bills, but it was hard to evaluate him when the Bills played the first team defense. Although as a backup quarterback, that's what you want to see what you can do against the first team defense. And unfortunately, Josh Johnson failed. As for the Broncos, either way though, most of the players on the bubble know this could be the last time they play for Denver and put on that uniform. It might be the last time they play in the NFL. Even if they don't make the team, at least they have tape to show the other 31 NFL teams. Who knows? Maybe a player Denver cut will end up on another team's roster or practice squad. Once this game is over against Minnesota, the Broncos will have decisions coming. The roster has to be down to 53 by August 30th by 2 p.m. Mountain Time. After that, they can sign players to the practice squad. Denver will then prepare for the Seattle Seahawks for their first regular season game on September 12th, Monday Night Football, and it's Russell Wilson's return to Seattle as a member of the Denver Broncos. The Broncos will take on the Minnesota Vikings for their final preseason game tomorrow. Kickoff is at 7 p.m. Mountain Time. Now we're going to segue to the Colorado Rockies. The Rockies right now stand at 54 wins and 72 losses. That is an unimpressive 33.5 games back of the LA Dodgers for first place in the National League West Division. Colorado is also 14 games back of the San Diego Padres for the third and final wildcard spot in the National League. With the Rockies failing to earn a postseason berth for the fourth straight year, it could be time to let Bud Black go. Fire him. Bud Black is in his sixth season as manager for the Rockies. You know, I like the hire of Bud Black when it happened prior to the 2017 season. I thought he could be the manager to help this team moving forward. I didn't expect a World Series, but I expected, hey, let's be a little bit competitive. It worked out in his first 2 years, and the reason why it worked out is because he knew how to take pitchers out. He knew how to take pitchers out and help them in games. Like I said, it worked in his first 2 years. The Rockies went 87 and 75 in 2017, but lost to Arizona in the wild card game 11-8. 2018, they advanced to the National League Division Series, but unfortunately they forgot to show up and were swept by the Milwaukee Brewers. After 2018, I had high expectations for this team. I mean, I wanted them to win the National League West Division. It looked like they could. Unfortunately, they took a step back and never happened. Sure, it didn't help. They traded the best player on their team, Nolan Arenado, to the St. Louis Cardinals on February 1st, 2021. They lost some leadership there. The Let's look at the finishes for the Colorado Rockies under Bud Black. This is also after 2018 when they made the postseason. 2019, 71 and 91. 2020, I can't really blame him because it was a COVID shortened year. 26 wins, 34 losses. 2021, 74 wins, 87 losses. So far this year, they are 54 and 72. Overall, Bud Black has shown he can't manage the team with an overall record of 403 wins and 431 losses. I have talked a lot about this on the show. I have talked a lot about the Rockies on the show, that their hitting was going to lead the team. It has. All these stats are going into tonight's game against the New York Mets. The Rockies right now are hitting as a team .262, second in Major League Baseball. At home, they're smacking the ball well, but it helps they play in a hitter's ballpark, Coors Field. As a team, their batting average at home is .288, first in Major League Baseball. The problem is when they hit the road, for whatever reason, that goes away. Their batting average away from Coors Field is .235, 18th in Major League Baseball. I have also said the way this team is going to be successful, or any team is going to be successful, is by pitching. The Rockies didn't improve it at all going into this season. Looking at their pitching right now, the team's ERA is 5.13, worst in baseball. Black can't trust his starters or the bullpen. The starting pitcher's ERA is 5.38, 29th in baseball. Only Washington is worse, as their starting ERA is 5.89. Black, unfortunately, waits until it's too late to switch pitchers. That is on him. Also, when he goes to the bullpen, the Rockies bullpen isn't getting the job done. They can't stop teams from scoring or protecting leads. Their ERA as a bullpen is 4.80, 29th in Major League Baseball. Only the Reds bullpen is worse at 4.86. That shows you right there why the Rockies aren't going to the postseason. Their pitching isn't there. The truth is, I don't place all the blame on Bud Black. I get he's the manager. Let's face the facts, though. Black isn't the one who is making the team, and he's not in charge of personnel moves. What I mean by that is he isn't signing players to contracts. He is not in charge of that. That is General Manager Bill Schmidt. What did he do, that is Bill Schmidt, do to improve this team from last year to this year? He only signed Kris Bryant. Sure, the Rockies thought that outfielder Kris Bryant would improve this team, but he's only played in 42 games this season. That is really not a great amount, and that's the least amount of games Kris Bryant has played. He has been dealing with back issues, and the Rockies might as well shut him down for the season. Even so, Bryant wasn't productive on offense with a batting average of .306 and only 5 home runs. Now, if the season were to end for Kris Bryant, the home runs are a career worst. Still, Black is the one that picks the lineup and decides when to take pitchers out. With everything going on this year, Black could be done at the end of the year, and he should be. The Rockies aren't playing competitive baseball and won't be in the postseason. There is only one reason to bring back Bud Black, and that is he has 1 year left on his contract. Would the Rockies want Black to manage in 2023? The thing is, at least when it is up after 2023, Colorado won't have to pay Bud Black. I do think when the Rockies play their last game on October 5th against the LA Dodgers, so when they take the field on October 5th, that could be it for Bud Black, but the Rockies have decisions to make, and one should be getting rid of Bud Black. Bill Schmidt and the rest of the Rockies front office should think of moving this guy. What can they do moving forward to be a championship team? Get rid of the manager. I don't think Bud Black is the guy moving forward. I am not sure what else the Rockies need to see from Bud Black to say, oh, I want him back next year. There must be major changes for the Rockies heading into the offseason. The truth is, how much will change? Because there hasn't been a lot of change for the Rockies in recent memory. Who knows? But the fact of the matter is, start with the manager. Fire Bud Black, and that will say that changes are coming for this baseball team. Then again, the front office will do what is best for the team. They may say, let's give Bud Black one more year and let him manage out his contract. I don't get why they would do that, but they may say, let's have him manage one more year because he has that contract year. For Bud Black, does he want to come back? I don't have any indication that Bud Black doesn't want to come back, but he turns 66 during the season next year. Either way, though, I feel for the Rockies to be competitive next year, a new manager is needed to make a change. That will signal, hey, let's get serious and become a playoff team. We got to catch the LA Dodgers and the San Diego Padres. Either way, though, I feel for the Rockies to be a competitive team next year, a new manager needs to be in charge. Then the Rockies can worry about the roster and finding players to improve the ball club. We will have to wait and see what the Rockies do next year. But please, I'm begging you, Bill Schmidt and the rest of the front office, get rid of Bud Black so we can have changes. But of course, we will have to wait and see because the Monfort family might say, let's keep Bud Black, or I should say the Monfort brothers might say, let's keep Bud Black for one more year. We'll move on and finish the show with Kevin Durant. Kevin Durant isn't going anywhere for now. He is staying put. I talked about him in the past and the fact that he wanted to go to another team. I don't know where he would be happy, and I don't think he knows where he would be happy. So the thing is, though, for me, the question is, where would he be happy? That is Kevin Durant. I'm not sure. There are many places he would be happy. It really seemed like he wanted out of Brooklyn. Durant even requested a trade out of Brooklyn. Of course, star players who say they want to be traded are usually dealt. They don't want to deal with the headache. Those franchises don't. Some cases they stay. Durant even told the front office that it was him or coach Steve Nash. This didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Nash isn't a bad head coach. He has been with the Nets since the 2020-2021 season. All he has done, that is Steve Nash, has helped the franchise win. In that short time, the Nets are 92 wins and 62 losses, a winning percentage of .597 for Steve Nash. By the way, they have earned a playoff spot the last 2 years. Nash will have his chance to guide this team for this upcoming season. Who knows what will happen after that? I think they're going to be a playoff team. But basically what I'm saying is Nash is staying and Durant still wanted out. I'm not sure where Durant would be happy. One place I thought made some sense was Boston. In fact, it was the place he wanted to go if traded. I understand why he would pick Boston. Boston has a chance to win a ring. And they actually showed that last year, even though they were beaten by the Golden State Warriors in 6 games. They have a chance to do it again this upcoming season. From the eyes of Kevin Durant, I can see that is a great place to be for him to land, especially he wants to be part of that, and you want a chance to win a ring. The problem is, Boston turned down whatever offer there was for Kevin Durant. I'm not sure what it was, but Boston wasn't going to trade for him since the price was too high. Now, again, I'm not sure what the offer was, but Boston decided to stay with the team they have, and I get it. Other teams called to see what the price was for Durant, or was for Durant. I get it. Why not see if you can lower the price to get one of the best shooters in the NBA? Well, the price was much too high, and teams didn't trade for Kevin Durant. Now, Durant is going to stay with the Nets. He has rescinded his trade request. I think he saw that the Nets did all they could to deal him, but at the end of the day, no teams wanted him, especially for the asking price that the Brooklyn Nets were asking for. Now he stays with Brooklyn. This was a great move for Brooklyn. They have a chance with Durant to be one of the top 6 teams in the East. In fact, I think they are a top 4 team. Also, they aren't going to let Kyrie Irving go either. Looking at those 2 players, they have stars on this team with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. We all know that a team needs more than one shooter to be successful in the NBA. Well, of course, they have Kyrie Irving and Kevin Durant. You also need role players. Well, they have Patty Mills and Seth Curry, who is Steph Curry's brother, who can all shoot the ball. Sounds great. If you look at Brooklyn right now, I would have to say yes, they are a top 6 team in the East. Last year, they finished 4th, and they have a chance to actually do something special in the playoffs. That is what you want, is to be a top 4 team and do something in the playoffs. I get it for them not making any major moves if you're the Brooklyn Nets. Why would you? You were a top 4 team in the East. Here's the thing, though. They could relook at trading Kevin Durant at the NBA's trade deadline. I'm not saying they will, but you could certainly relook at it. Same with Kyrie Irving. The thing is, now that this is over, the Nets can focus on this upcoming season. The regular season starts on October 19th for them when they face the New Orleans Pelicans. They end the year on April 9th. They end the year on April 9th hosting the Philadelphia 76ers. Hopefully Durant will play well and the Nets make it further than the first round. Of course, you want to win a ring. That is the goal, is to win the NBA championship. The thing is, though, if you look at the East, it's pretty stacked. The Miami Heat, who were the number 1 team last year, they, in the East actually at the end, they aren't going anywhere. The Boston Celtics are looking for an even deeper run, although what I mean by that is to win an NBA championship. They went all the way to the finals and lost. And then, of course, you have the Milwaukee Bucks. The Bucks are going to be a top 4 seed. The question is, can you knock off Miami, Boston, as well as Milwaukee to go further in the NBA playoffs if you're the Brooklyn Nets? You certainly have the team to do that with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving, as well as role players. I'm just not sure about Steve Nash as a head coach, but the fact of the matter is he has another year to coach this team. So I'm going to hold off on saying that Steve Nash isn't a good head coach until I see what he does this year. Of course, the goal is to win an NBA championship, and the Nets look to do that after April 19th when they host the Philadelphia 76ers for their final game. I'm Jordan Long. This has been Under Review. Read my blog that I write Mondays through Thursdays with podcasts on Fridays at sports-scoop.com. So again, my blog I write Mondays through Thursdays with podcasts on Fridays at sports-scoop.com. Check out all the shows we have on the Sideline Sports Network and subscribe so you don't miss any of them, because we have so many great shows every single day. This has been a Sideline Sports production.